Coming soon from SJS Direct. E-Steam, Little Girl Lost. The Devilish Diva helps a lost little girl find her way home in this devilishly funny E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam, Little Girl Lost at online booksellers this April. Last Saturday I saw a clear example of how these Afro-American Negro males, and even some of these Hispanic males, are clearly stuck in a state of arrested development. Now, last Saturday, I was on my way up the hill to this Associated Supermarket on 167th Street, and I was stopped dead in my tracks by this pit bull terrier who was sitting on the sidewalk across from this Arabone store in my neighborhood. Now, this pit bull terrier was outfitted in a knit cap, a hoodie, and some booties. And while that was disturbing to see, and as it was, the most disturbing thing that I saw was that this dog, what was standing outside of this Arabone store, was sitting there and was not tied to anything. Now, usually, a lot of people, when they go shopping with their pets, they will tie the dog down to a parking meter or some sort of post to make sure that the dog is secure and to make sure that the dog does not wind up getting into trouble with people or getting into trouble with rats or birds or starts chasing them. They do this to secure the animal and make sure that the animal is safe not only from others but from its own natural behavior. But what I saw there with this, this dog is just sitting here outside of this Arabone store, and the owner is inside doing whatever he is in this Arabone store, not looking out for the safety of this animal, not taking responsibility for this animal, and clearly showing that this is not an individual who should be holding and caring for a pet. And it's really sad to see a grown man not knowing how to take care of an animal. This is behavior that most 7 and 8-year-olds pretty much learn before they get one of these animals. And here we have a grown man not knowing how to take care of a dog. And it just shook my head looking at this because it was embarrassing to see. A grown man who was dressed up his pit bull terrier goes inside the Arabone store, does not make efforts to secure this animal, and not understanding this threat that this animal is being put in and the safety of this animal. Again, showing me how immature and how irresponsible these Afro-American Negro males are, and even some of these Hispanic males are, who have been raised by these single mothers. These guys only see these animals as a status item to impress these females, but they don't understand how the way their behaviors are showing how, to most people, they are individuals we can't take seriously. Because if this individual was to be someone you wanted to take seriously, again, he would have secured this animal and looked out for its safety instead of going into this store to go buy one of these Black and Miles or one of these 40 ounces. He would have done that first. But when it comes down to these males, again, this shows me how they are stuck in a state of arrested development. And their inability to care for an animal pretty much shows how they are unable to care for themselves. This is not the first time I have seen, this transpire here in my Bronx neighborhood. I remember a couple of days before that, I saw another one of these Afro-American Negro males who had one of these pit bull terriers and was trying to show out like he was some sort of tough guy or bad boy, and he couldn't control the animal. The animal was barking, the animal did not know who the master was, the animal did not know who was the authority, and the animal was controlling him. He wasn't controlling the animal, which clearly shows me again how dysfunctional these Afro-American Negro males are. These males, they see these dogs and they want them as social currency to get the attention of these females, but they don't understand that by showing out with these dogs, they show how weak they actually are, because only a weak male goes out here and gets an animal to use as a prop to get the attention of women. Men who have confidence in themselves can get the attention of women without attachments. And they don't. And what happens with many of these males is they don't understand how their behavior, works against them. Moreover, it shows how poor a job these single mothers have done with these Negro males. You're going to go out here and buy this man a dog when it's clear that this man can't even take care of himself. When I look at these males who are 20, 25, 30, 35, who live in their mother's house with their sagging pants on and their big baggy shirts or their big goose down jackets, they look like overgrown children. And they're sitting here with a pit bull looking like one of the little rascals, and they can't even care for this animal because when you see a guy who pretty much takes a dog out, decides he's going to go in the Arabone store for a black and mild or a 40 ounce or whatever he's going to buy, and he's not going to make efforts to secure that animal, this clearly shows me that this male cannot be responsible for a pet. Moreover, he cannot even be responsible for himself because a grown man who owns an animal understands that he and cares for that animal understands that he has to look out for the safety of that animal because this is a creature that needs to be cared for. This is a creature that needs to be protected. And this is a creature that needs to be looked out for. And he shows that he is incapable of doing this. And it's really sad to see that you have grown men who do not know how to take care of basic things, and even crazier, that we have females who go out here and enable the dysfunction in these males by going out and getting them these dogs instead of saying, look, you clearly show me you can't even take care of yourself. You can't take care of the basics, such as even getting yourself to school. You can't take care of the basics of trying to look for a job. You show me the basics of you can't even wash yourself or put on clothes that fit you, but you want to sit here and talk about you want to own a dog. I'm sorry, when I was a kid, you had to show that you could take responsibility for the basics before somebody handed you off a pet. You had to show that you could do your work in school. You had to show that you could keep your room clean, or keep your clothes clean, or put your clothes away. You had to show basic responsibility for basic things before somebody handed you bigger responsibilities, such as taking care of a pet, which is a major responsibility. And what's even scarier about this type of Negro in many cases is this is the same Negro who can't take care of a dog, but he's going to go out here and in many cases go out here and impregnate one of these females and give her a child, which again is really, mind-boggling because here we have a Negro who's shown they can't take care of responsibility for a dog, but somebody's going to go out here and have a child with this same Negro. And this is why we have a vicious cycle of dysfunction regarding the Afro-American Negro community and even parts of the Hispanic community, because many of these dysfunctional individuals who really show you in their childhood and even into their adulthood, they can't even take care of themselves, go out here and they show they can't take care of a pet and they can't take care of themselves, but they're going to go out here and father children, continuing a vicious cycle of dysfunction. Now, seeing the way that dog was being treated, it really made me shake my head. You're just going to have this dog sitting out in the cold. You put a hat and booties and a coat on it, but you didn't look out for the basic responsibilities of this dog. Here we have a dog just sitting here, and what would have happened if this dog were to have seen a squirrel? Because most dogs, when they see a squirrel, they're going to go out here and chase it, or a bird. This dog pretty much would have wound up dead if it ran into the street, into the traffic. And this dumb dog owner, because he is dumb, like many of these Afro-American Negroes, will be sitting there wondering why this happened. And it happened because his single mother went out and got him a dog, and he wound up getting a dog and not understanding that the responsibilities that were related and required to it. And it was just a sad thing to see. Here is an animal that's put in a dangerous situation because a grown man just doesn't understand, the basics regarding life and taking responsibility in life. A grown man, should not be entrusted with things like this until they can show they can handle taking care of the basics. And this is just what I'm seeing in this Afro-American Negro community that's really sad is we have grown men who show they don't have the ability to care for a dog or even care for themselves. They're basically like overgrown 8-year-olds. And that's just really pathetic to see, because you would think a grown man, would have the ability to know how to handle something like that. But it's clear to me that these single mothers have done such a terrible job with these Negro males and some of these Hispanic males that these men are literally like overgrown children, unable to do the basics for themselves and unable to do something as simple as caring for a dog. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.